We live in a world brimming with tiny unseen helpers. Consider the Apple AirTag, a small, unassuming disc. It's designed to find your lost keys. It helps locate your misplaced backpack. Many view these trackers as simple tools. They are part of our increasingly connected lives. We attach them to our valuables without a second thought. They are meant to simplify, to secure. These trackers are becoming incredibly common. You see them everywhere if you look closely. Or perhaps you don't see them at all. That is part of their design. They are meant to be discreet. People clip them to pet collars. They slip them into luggage before a long journey. They tuck them into wallets. The idea is simple. If something important goes missing, a tap on an app can reveal its location. But what happens when such helpful technology falls into a different narrative? What if its capabilities are turned towards less innocent ends? A tool designed for recovery can inadvertently become a catalyst. It can lead to confrontations. It can draw people into dangerous scenarios. This is a story about one such device. The date was September 8, 2024. It was a Sunday. In Santa Fe, New Mexico, the air was still thick with celebration. Amidst this festive backdrop, something went wrong. A Jeep Cherokee was stolen. For its owner, the day took an unwelcome turn. The joy of the festival likely faded fast. It was replaced by a familiar sense of violation and frustration. The owner quickly realized their vehicle was missing. Panic might have set in. Then, perhaps, a flicker of hope. This was no ordinary theft scenario. The Jeep was not entirely untraceable. Hidden somewhere inside the vehicle was an Apple AirTag, a small digital beacon. The owner knew this. They had placed it there for this exact reason. It was a modern precaution against an age-old crime. Now, it was time to see if it worked. The owner activated the tracking feature. On their smartphone, a map likely appeared. A small dot would have indicated the Jeep's current location. This was technology offering a direct line to their stolen property. The owner made a crucial decision. They decided to involve the authorities. They contacted the Santa Fe Police Department. They reported the Jeep Cherokee stolen. To understand the gravity of the unfolding events, one must understand Fiesta de Santa Fe. This is not just any festival. It is woven into the very fabric of the city. It is a tradition stretching back centuries. It commemorates the reconquest of Santa Fe in 1692. It is a profound expression of history, faith, and culture for the people here. Imagine the city during Fiesta. The streets are alive. There are parades with historical figures. There is the burning of Zozobra, Old Man Gloom. Music fills the air from traditional mariachi to contemporary bands. The scent of roasting green chilies and other local delicacies is everywhere. Religious observances like masses and processions are central. It is a time when the community comes together. They celebrate their heritage. They share joy. The incident with the stolen Jeep Cherokee occurred on the last day of this grand celebration. The city was more crowded than usual. Tourists and locals alike thronged the streets. The atmosphere was meant to be one of revelry and peace. Law enforcement resources were likely stretched. The police response was swift. The owner of the stolen Jeep Cherokee was likely at a local McDonald's. Perhaps they were anxiously watching the dot move on their phone screen. Officers were dispatched to meet them. They needed to coordinate. They needed to understand the information the AirTag was providing. This tiny device was now their primary guide. It was leading them through the city streets unseen by the vehicle's new occupant. The AirTag signal was clear. It painted a digital path. This path led officers to a specific residential area, the 2800 block of Don Quixote. It was here, at his father's home, that the suspect was located. The suspect was identified as Rick Robert Chavez. He was 35 years old. The AirTag had done its job flawlessly. It had taken the guesswork out of the search. It pointed directly to the stolen Jeep and to Chavez. Chavez was not just an accidental joyrider. He was known to law enforcement. He had several active arrest warrants. Officers weren't just dealing with a car theft. They were approaching an individual already wanted for other offenses. The tension must have been palpable for the officers. Officers moved to apprehend Rick Robert Chavez at the Don Quixote address. The plan was likely to take him into custody swiftly. Perhaps they hoped for a peaceful resolution. But Chavez had other ideas. Faced with the arrival of law enforcement, he did not surrender. He made a split-second decision. He chose to flee. He jumped back into the stolen Jeep Cherokee. The engine roared to life. The situation instantly escalated. What followed was a high-speed pursuit. The Jeep, with Chavez at the wheel, sped away from Don Quixote. Police vehicles gave chase, sirens wailed, cutting through the otherwise ordinary day. The pursuit weaved through Santa Fe streets. This was no longer a covert tracking operation. It was an open, dangerous chase. The safety of other motorists and pedestrians became an immediate concern. During the chase, officers attempted to employ a pursuit intervention technique. This is often called a pit maneuver. It's a tactic used to force a fleeing vehicle to turn sideways abruptly. The goal is to make the driver lose control and stop. However, in this instance, the technique was unsuccessful. Chavez managed to maintain control of the Jeep. He continued his desperate bid for freedom. The pursuit raged on, becoming more perilous. Despite the collision, the pursuit of Rick Robert Chavez continued. The remaining police units pressed on. They were determined to stop the fleeing Jeep. Officers deployed another tool from their arsenal, stop-stick devices. These are portable tire deflation devices. They are designed to puncture the tires of a vehicle safely. The goal is to bring a chase to a controlled end. This time the tactic worked as intended. The stop sticks made contact with the Jeep's tires. Air began to hiss out. The tires started to deflate. The stolen Cherokee became increasingly difficult to control. Chavez was losing his advantage. The vehicle was failing him. His options were rapidly diminishing. The technology of the stop sticks was working against his escape. He was being cornered, not just by police cars, but by failing equipment. The end of this particular chase was near. The pursuit, now with a hobbled Jeep, led to Vereda de Encanto. It was here that the stolen vehicle finally became undrivable. Chavez knew he could go no further in the Cherokee. He exited the disabled Jeep, but he was not surrendering. As he emerged, it became clear he was armed. He was carrying a handgun. This was a critical escalation. The scene on Vereda de Encanto was now incredibly tense. Officers had Chavez and Tharagood contained within the second vehicle. But Chavez was armed. The potential for further violence was extremely high. Officers likely issued commands. They would have ordered the occupants to show their hands, to surrender. The quiet street was transformed into a tactical standoff. Seconds stretched into an eternity. The air was thick with unspoken threats. Then, the situation exploded. Shots were fired. According to reports, a significant number of rounds were discharged. The Santa Fe New Mexican and NBC7 San Diego reported that a total of 17 shots were fired. Some accounts indicate that Chavez fired his handgun at the officers. This was the moment everyone feared. The confrontation had turned into a gun battle. The officers were now under direct fire. Their lives were in immediate danger. In response to the threat, at least one officer fired their service weapon. They returned fire, aiming at Chavez and Tharagood. The aftermath of the shooting on Vereda de Encanto was grim. Rick Robert Chavez, the primary suspect, had been shot several times. Despite his injuries, he managed to get back into the car driven by George Tharagood Jr. However, his attempt to continue his escape was futile. Chavez succumbed to his wounds. He died there in the vehicle. His desperate flight from justice had ended in the most final way possible. George Anthony Tharagood Jr., the driver of the second vehicle, was also hit. He sustained a gunshot wound to his arm. Unlike Chavez, Tharagood surrendered to the police at the scene. He was given medical treatment for his injuries. Once cleared, he was released into police custody. He would later plead not guilty to several charges. These included aiding a felon and resisting arrest. He was placed under the supervision of pretrial services. The violence also touched the ranks of law enforcement. Santa Fe police officer Charles Oval was shot during the intense altercation. Adding a bizarre and unfortunate layer to the chaos, a police K-9 named Ake was released during the incident. The dog, instead of apprehending a suspect, bit Officer Oval. Officer Oval, fortunately, was eventually released from the hospital. The violent events of September 8, 2024, sent ripples through Santa Fe. The shooting caused significant disruption. It instilled fear among many who were in the city for the Fiesta de Santa Fe. A day of celebration was marred by real-world violence. The news spread quickly. It served as a sobering reminder of the dangers that can erupt even amidst joyous occasions. The community was left to process the shock. Beyond the immediate impact, the incident raised broader questions. It highlighted the role of tracking devices like Apple AirTags in criminal situations. These devices are designed for convenience and recovery, but as this case showed, they can also lead owners or police into direct and potentially volatile confrontations. The public began to discuss the potential dangers. Could such technology inadvertently escalate situations? What were the new risks? The Santa Fe Police Department launched a thorough investigation into the entire incident. This is standard procedure for officer-involved shootings. The aim is to understand the sequence of events fully, to determine if policies were followed, and to learn lessons for the future. Ultimately, the AirTag drama and the 17 shots fired serve as a powerful case study. It's a story about the complex interplay between technology, human behavior, crime, and public safety.
Imagine a serene afternoon suddenly disrupted by a high-speed chase. On March 29, 2022, that was the reality in Buffalo. This shocking event started with a routine traffic stop. Officers noticed a vehicle with suspicious window tints in a parking lot. When they approached the driver, they discovered the vehicle's registration was suspended. Instead of complying, the driver accelerated away, igniting a gripping pursuit. What began as a simple inquiry spiraled into chaos. The chase gained speed, and tensions mounted. The suspect, now on the run, allegedly fired shots at officers while speeding. This reckless action turned the neighborhood into a battleground. Imagine the fear and adrenaline as officers dodged bullets while navigating traffic. Finally, the chase came to a crashing halt. The suspect collided with a billboard pole, ending the chase. However, the danger wasn't over. As officers approached, the suspect continued to fire. In a split-second decision, police returned fire. Officers had to protect themselves and each other. It was an intense moment, filled with uncertainty and bravery. 3 officers were injured by gunfire, yet they displayed incredible heroism. After the dust settled, the suspect was apprehended. He was transported to a nearby hospital for treatment. This incident illustrates the risks law enforcement faces daily. The suspect now faces serious legal repercussions, 7 felony counts and 1 misdemeanor. This event is a sobering reminder of heightened tensions in police work. It reflects the unpredictable nature of high-speed pursuits. Through these moments, officers put their lives on the line to protect us. To recap, a routine stop turned into a high-speed chase. The suspect showed reckless disregard for life, shooting at officers. It showcases the intense pressures law enforcement faces. What can we learn from this? Always think twice before engaging in reckless behavior. Understand the impact your actions have on others. If you see flashing lights, it's best to pull over safely. Stay informed and support our law enforcement. Like, share, and subscribe for more updates. Together, we can foster a safer community. On that tumultuous day, as chaos unfolded across the streets of Buffalo, the community held its collective breath. Families peered out from their homes, whispering prayers while helplessly watching the drama unravel before their eyes. The sound of sirens echoed, signaling the urgency of the situation that was far beyond anyone's expectations. As the chase propelled forward, the once quiet neighborhood was transformed into a scene of sheer panic. Children were hurried inside, mothers shielded their eyes from the chaos, and fathers stood resolute, ready to protect their families. Each overpass and corner transformed into a spectator zone, where onlookers could glimpse the unfolding drama. Suddenly, a bullet struck near an officer's feet, splintering the asphalt and reigniting the urgency of the moment. Shouts filled the air as officers communicated swiftly, coordinating their movements under intense pressure. Adrenaline surged, and each decision became a matter of life and death. With determination etched on their faces, the officers pressed on, their training kicking in as they sought cover while returning fire to mitigate the threat. The immediate chaos only heightened their instincts, urging them to protect not just one another but also the innocent neighbors caught in the crossfire. In the midst of this daring showdown, a nearby resident captured the heart-pounding chase on their cell phone, recording the extraordinary display of bravery and peril. As officers encircled the area with unwavering resolve, the reality of the situation gripped them. This was no longer just a routine incident, lives were on the line. Symptoms of distress emerged in the community, neighbors grasped their phones, flooding social media with updates and pleas for safety. The videos, soon to spread across various platforms, depicted a vivid reality of courage amidst chaos. Yet, behind the lens, families faced an unnerving uncertainty, grappling with the fragility of life. As the poise of the officers clashed with the sheer recklessness of the suspect, a palpable tension hung in the air, a reminder that every split-second decision held the weight of life or death. Moments later, a decisive shout from the commanding officer rallied the team to act swiftly, ensuring that safety prevailed amidst the descent into turmoil. As the chase continued, a growing ensemble of police vehicles joined the pursuit, their lights flashing like a surreal strobe against the chaos. Officers yelled commands over the radio, rallying support while coordinating roadblocks to slow down the suspect's reckless flight. Meanwhile, onlookers clutched their mobile devices tightly, capturing every moment, unsure whether to feel excitement or fear as they recorded history unfolding right before them, bearing witness to a violent clash of courage and desperation. In that frantic moment, the suspect's vehicle careened dangerously close to a group of bystanders, prompting horrified gasps and frantic movements as people sought shelter. The officers, acutely aware of the stakes, tightened their formation, ready to spring into action at a moment's notice. The roar of engines and the crackle of radio communications filled the air, blending into an alarming symphony of chaos. In the aftermath of that harrowing chase, the streets of Buffalo began to calm, though the echoes of the gunfire lingered. The community, shaken but resilient, started to come together, reflecting on the bravery displayed by their law enforcement. This incident would serve as a lasting reminder of the sacrifices made daily to ensure their safety. As the afternoon sun dipped lower, casting long shadows on the pavement, the sound of sirens began to fade, giving way to a tense silence. Neighbors cautiously emerged from their homes, eyes filled with a mix of worry and relief, as they gathered in small clusters, sharing stories of what they had just witnessed. Whispers of thankfulness for the brave officers filled the air, mingled with the desire to understand how such chaos had erupted in their peaceful neighborhood. A young boy, clutching his toy police car, looked up at his father, wide-eyed and filled with questions about the dangers just faced. As the sun set, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, the community began to rally together, offering support to one another after the harrowing events. Families exchanged comforting hugs, reminding each other that they were not alone in this chaos. The local coffee shop owner, known for her warm smiles, set up a makeshift gathering spot, providing free hot cocoa to weary neighbors, while a few teenagers helped by handing out blankets. Conversations turned from fear to gratitude, as residents shared their thoughts on the courage of the police officers who braved danger to protect them. The sense of unity began to overshadow the fear that had gripped the neighborhood just hours before. As the night deepened, the sound of laughter emerged from the coffee shop, a stark contrast to the earlier tension. Neighbors began opening up to one another, sharing their experiences during the chase and finding solace in their shared fears and relief. Phones buzzed incessantly with news updates, and community members eagerly pieced together what had transpired, each story revealing another layer of bravery from the officers involved. The local pastor arrived, bringing words of hope and prayers for the injured officers and their families. With every heartfelt story and shared embrace, the residents began to heal, reminding each other that they were stronger together. Their lives, forever marked by the intensity of that day, were intertwined by a renewed commitment to support their community and law enforcement, ensuring such events would not tear them apart, but bind them closer than ever. As the neighborhood began to settle, a deeper conversation unfolded. Residents expressed their concerns not only about the violent encounter but also about broader issues of safety and community trust. "How can we ensure this never happens again?" asked a cautious mother, her voice trembling slightly. Others nodded in agreement, sharing their thoughts on how to forge a stronger bond between law enforcement and the community. Some proposed regular neighborhood watch meetings, while others suggested open forums with police officers to discuss pressing concerns. The gathering soon evolved into a town hall of sorts, where every voice was heard, and every opinion mattered. There was a collective understanding that healing would take time, but together, they could rebuild and enhance the fabric of their once peaceful community. As the discussions continued, the atmosphere shifted toward a shared determination to take proactive steps. Ideas flowed freely, and one local teacher proposed organizing community events where families could meet officers in a relaxed setting, fostering understanding and trust between both sides. The notion was met with enthusiasm, sparking more innovative ideas about integrating safety education into local schools, ensuring children learn to respect law enforcement while also empowering them to voice any concerns. Conversations grew more animated, laughter punctuating moments of reflection as a sense of camaraderie blossomed amid the lingering shadows of the earlier turmoil. Parents exchanged contact information to establish a network, emphasizing their commitment to protecting one another and their children. The warmth of shared purpose filled the coffee shop, knitting together the fabric of the community as they moved forward from their shared trauma. As the evening wore on, the coffee shop buzzed with optimism, drawing in more neighbors eager to find comfort. The aroma of hot cocoa mingled with the scent of coffee, creating an inviting atmosphere for everyone. Families began to gather around tables, discussing not just safety, but their hopes for a brighter future. A father, his voice steady, proposed a neighborhood picnic to honor the brave officers and foster goodwill. The idea sparked excitement, with children chiming in, suggesting games and activities they could host. A sense of renewed energy filled the room, as laughter replaced anxiety, and plans for unity took shape amidst their hardship. The community found solace in the power of togetherness, proving that through adversity, they could emerge stronger. As the night unfolded, the warmth of connection grew stronger, brightening the dark hours. Conversations flourished around gratitude and understanding, with many neighbors sharing personal anecdotes about their interactions with law enforcement. Someone recounted a time when an officer helped a stranded motorist, emphasizing the humanity behind the badge. Laughter mingled with heartfelt stories, creating an atmosphere of resilience. The local pastor suggested creating a mural depicting the day's events, capturing both the chaos and the bravery. This visual representation could serve as a reminder of their unity and determination to foster healing. With excitement, they began brainstorming designs, each idea reflecting their shared history and hope for future safety. As plans for the mural took shape, the local pastor encouraged everyone to express their feelings and contribute ideas. "Each brushstroke will symbolize our journey through chaos to healing," he declared, inspiring creativity among the attendees. Children eagerly chimed in, suggesting vibrant colors to represent hope and resilience, while adults considered symbols of protection and community strength. The energy in the coffee shop surged as families gathered around tables, sketching ideas and sharing laughter, the joy punctuating the early attention. With connections strengthening, the neighbors felt a collective sense of purpose, transforming their fear into action and determination as they united to shape their community's narrative moving forward. As the night wore on, the local pastor gathered everyone around and said, "Let us take a moment to honor the officers who bravely faced danger today. A palpable hush fell over the room, as heads bowed in reverence. Each resident, touched by the day's events, felt a wave of gratitude wash over them, uniting them in a collective recognition of sacrifice. The sound of clinking cups faded as heartfelt stories of heroism emerged, echoing throughout the coffee shop, signifying their shared commitment to moving forward together. With their spirits lifted, the community prepared to channel their energy into not just remembrance, but action, carving a new path woven with vigilance and care. As the evening progressed, the sense of togetherness fostered a stronger resolve among the residents. More neighbors filtered into the coffee shop, drawn by the warmth of support and camaraderie that now filled the space. Lively discussions sparked new ideas for initiatives aimed at enhancing community safety, from organizing bake sales to raise funds for local law enforcement to establishing a neighborhood watch program. Let's make this not just a reaction to fear but a proactive stance for a safer tomorrow, a spirited neighbor exclaimed, her enthusiasm igniting further conversation and consensus. Each contribution marked a step toward healing, solidifying the bond that brought them closer in the face of adversity. As the community rallied beneath the painted sky, an unwavering spirit of resilience emerged, reinforcing their commitment to one another. United in purpose, they faced the future with renewed hope, ready to foster a safer environment, and honor the bravery exhibited during the chaos. Together, they turned a tragedy into a